Where would we be if God took his hand off us? And the question is this: what causes him to do that? And if God takes his hand off us, how can we stay the hand of God? That's my subject today. Staying the hand of God. You can. God gives to us the choice. God invites us to stay his hand, to ask him not to remove his hand from us. Some of you are battling in your business because God's taken his hand off your business. You're messing around with God. Some of you are battling in your own personal life, your own conduct, because your heart's not in the right place. And God has said, I've told you, I'm just going to take my hand off you. You're on your own. You don't stand a chance when God takes his hand off you. You want to be on your own? You want to solve your own problems? You want to fight your own battle? Is that what you want? You want to paddle your own canoe? God will say, paddle. Let me show you what you're going to look like without my hand on you. You don't stand a chance. Man, we have proved that to ourselves. Nations have proved that. Time without number. You cannot look at our world today and come to the conclusion that any person or any nation can survive without the hand of God on them. Here in this broad spectrum, we've got the picture of the collapse of the kingdom. This is the beginning of the end for a nation so blessed. And into the scheme of things comes a man by the name of Hezekiah. Now, there's a lot in this picture because there are many battles and ups and downs. It just looks like our lives, really, if you study the story of Israel. Many ups, many downs. By the way, if I may just say this, the Christian life is not a perfect life. You and I will fail God many, many times, won't we? But God is the God of reconciliation and restoration. He brings us back. It's really the story, the ongoing story of the prodigal son. We may go off into a strange land, but when we come to our senses, we look back to our Father's house. He says, come on back home. I'm going to put my hand on you. So the prodigal son went off. He was by himself and he ended up in a pig pen. Came to his senses, looked up, saw his father's house, went back to his father's house, and his father killed the fatted calf and put a ring on his finger, welcomed him home. This is what I want us to be able to really get a hold of, because this is true for your life and my life and for all of us. It's true for us as a nation. We had better be very careful in this nation. If you're going to ask Don personally, I believe God is taking his hand off America. We better watch out, Americans. Let's not rest on our laurels. Greatest country in the world, everything revolves around us. It is changing so rapidly. The biggest movements of God are no longer taking place here in America. They're taking place everywhere else. We're becoming owned by the rest of the world. We're not even respected like we once were. We can't even make up our minds who we are. We become a divided nation. The very definition of the word nation means that we're of one heart and one mind. And our people are not of one heart and of one mind. That doesn't mean to say we're the same people. But nations are of one heart and of one mind. And when it comes to the Lord, when you study the nation of Israel, there are some very deep truths here. God's saying something. And in the middle of all of this, you had the kings of Assyria coming against. They were wreaking havoc. They were sending these people into exile. And as I told you, your life group leaders will give you a lot more detail that I'm giving you this morning in these few moments. But I want us to focus on what took place. The nation was collapsing. The people were being divided. And they were turning against God. And in the midst of this, Hezekiah shows up. So in Hezekiah chapter 30, I'm going to do something a little bit differently, because I want you to see where I got the phrase hand of God from. What prompted my thoughts as I was studying this? Just look at verse 12 of 2 Chronicles chapter 30 and verse 12. The hand of God was also on Judah to give them one heart to do. I just want to read that again. The hand of God was on Judah with the purpose of giving them one heart to do, to be all that God wanted them to be. The hand of God. What Hezekiah did was that he made a public proclamation to the people. And this is what he said to them. And I'm going to just pick up at verse 6 of 2 Chronicles chapter 30. So couriers went out throughout all of the all Israel and Judah, with letters from the king and his princes, as the king had commanded, saying, O people of Israel, return to the Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, that he may turn again to the remnant of you who have escaped from the hand of the kings of Assyria. Do not be like your fathers, and your brothers, who were faithless to the Lord God their fathers, so that he made them a desolation, as you see. Do not now be stiff-necked as your fathers were, but yield yourselves to the Lord and come to his sanctuary, which he has consecrated forever, and serve the Lord your God, that his fierce anger may turn away from you. Isn't that a beautiful statement?